Welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast. This show is all about breaking barriers and changing the game. Our guests will feature some of today's most successful female entrepreneurs and other advocates of our industry as well. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, female-led entrepreneurship drives change on multiple levels. We want to empower women in the trade industry like you so you can maximize your potential, stay balanced, achieve long-term success, and claim ownership over your life. Let's get started.
Hey, welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast with Cassie and Leslie. We are so excited to be here today with Jen Mckee from Kee Hart Marketing. Welcome to the show, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Thanks. I'm so excited about this.
So we're really excited about Jen for a couple of things. So Jen and Leslie go way back. Jen,
like Cadillac seats.
Jen and Leslie go way back. And so first thing we need to say is that Kee Hart Marketing is a sponsor for Power Women of the Trades podcast. And all of our social media, our TikTok, all of those things that you are seeing online are being done by Jen. So that can give you, if you found this podcast that way, that can kind of give you an idea very quickly about Kee Hart Marketing. On top of that, Jen also does the social media for my company, Quality Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Leslie's company, Champion Plumbing.
That's right.
So Jen, the girl, you know what this is. We were just chatting about previously, like, how'd you get into plumbing and HVAC? And it was Leslie, but how are you liking plumbing and HVAC?
Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't my intentions to when I started my social media company. I came from the restaurant industry. So my first idea was like, I'll work with restaurants and bars. And those were some of my first clients. But when I talked with Leslie, which was probably like early 2021, her idea was like, I want to be on every social media. I want to be on TikTok. And like through the end of 2020, obviously TikTok blew up in 2020. I mean, maybe not obviously, but that's really when the platform blew up. And I was like, already like, okay, I need to figure this out. I need to figure out how I can put businesses on here. Like, this is clearly the direction. And then I have Leslie who's like, I want to be on there. And I was like, perfect, let's do it. And so we saw a lot of really fun success, especially at the beginning. There were like no plumbers or HVAC companies on TikTok at all.
That's changed though. I mean, do you notice it now? Yeah.
There are so many. And even if Jen's not like helping facilitate that, you guys like created like what is the word I'm looking for? Like a trend, a revolution, something. You know, I was talking right before this about how I was in a class recently, and without naming some names, but where someone said, you know, it was a marketing class and someone wasn't totally bought into TikTok. And I had to stand up and say respectfully, no, because at first, I'll be honest, I didn't see the value in TikTok at first either. When Leslie was like, oh, we're on TikTok. And this was before Quality was using Kee Hart. And I thought, well, why? Like who? But TikTok has changed. You know, you can sponsor, you can drill it down way better than it used to. Obviously, TikTok is evolving. And so I stood up in that class and said, did you know that TikTok actually has more search? It had to surpass, what is that?
It surpassed Google and
SEO.
Yeah, but it surpassed Google as a search engine.
Yeah. And not only that, but the videos are being indexed for Google. And so now when people are searching, I haven't seen it on every search term, but there are certain things that you can search, and TikTok videos show up like as like the second thing there. So SEO is actually really important in TikTok.
Yeah. And it really is. And I think if anything, like what I love about Quality's TikTok specifically is like, it really shows who we are as a company. I think it's like amazing for recruiting. You can like really understand our vision, our core values, the vibe of the people you're going to work with if you come to work for our company. And if I don't get anything else from our TikTok besides just that, I mean, how hard it is recruiting and how expensive is recruiting,
right?
You know, like that's huge. And even if,
especially to the younger generation, which is we're already trying to get them into the trades, there's already sort of a roadblock mentally there that you have to overcome. I mean, any way you can make your business seem more fresh, more youth driven, which is what you tend to think of for social media, it's an added bonus for recruiting, I think.
So how has TikTok evolved, do you think, like in the last couple years from, it blew up. We were all sitting at home, or we weren't. We were in the trades working. But a lot of people were sitting at home in that first like COVID life, right? And that's how TikTok, I think, really just blew up. And so since then, what have you seen? How have you seen TikTok change?
Yeah, I mean, it's changing constantly, right? It's because of the content that's being put on there. But I think that, not really how has it changed, but I think the reason that it is so valuable to business owners in general is because I know Leslie is active on TikTok. Like when you watch it as an adult, like you learn so much stuff. And so it's a really great place to share value also, which when TikTok first started, it really was, evolved from Musical.ly. It really was a lot of dancing and a lot of music, and it's still that, but it's also a place to share information, to learn news. Like people are actually getting their news from TikTok now. And so it's just like such a place it's a great place for business owners because a lot of homeowners are there, in the service trades industry.
Absolutely.
Well, and what I like about TikTok is if you're a small business, like TikTok is for small creators. It is for the average person. It is not for the celebrities. Mm-hmm. It is not for the singers. They get roasted on there it is for definitely small creator driven branding about your experience. Get ready with me, a day in the life. And so that's what I like about it because we need to do a get ready with me, Champion Plumbing style. But what I like about it is small creator driven, and they really could be too much power, but it definitely creates a place where if you're a small business owner, you can be seen and heard, and you really want your eyes, and you can target your area. It has to be said that you can target the Oklahoma City Metro if you have the right filters in place, but it is for small business, small creators, more so than large companies. Well,
and the advantage to being on TikTok, because what you guys focus on, brand awareness is important to you at this point in your journey. And when you're obviously Facebook and Instagram, these are places that is duh, everybody thinks I'm going to get on Facebook, I'm going to get on Instagram. And so everybody thinks that they're going to be on these platforms, but the advantage to TikTok is that there's more consumers than there are creators and then there is content. So there's still an opportunity to get seen every single time you put content out there. And when you're posting on Facebook, you're posting for, 1 to 10% of the people who are already following you and the people who already know you. And when you're posting on TikTok, you're getting in front of hundreds, if not thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of new people. And you have that opportunity every single time you put content out there. And that's just not available on almost any of the other platforms right now.
Can you talk more? And I have Facebook has been a lost cause for me for a long time, and I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash on that. That's how I feel personally. And we're still present, but to me, it just is what it is. Can you talk more about, and that's my opinion, but can you talk more about how the social media channels interact with your organic SEO, how it all works together, how YouTube is a part of this, how having shorts, they're seemingly all connected in a way, and they all work together to build a total overall presence. It's not just one platform.
Yeah. And that was a huge question. So we're probably going to have to break down.
Sorry about that.
Some pieces of it. I want to start first with Facebook because you mentioned it first. And I have felt very similarly to you. And in the last probably 6 to 8 months, my opinions changed a little bit, which is why we have made it more of a priority for our clients. Because number one, and I just want to point this out, but part of the reason our social media is so successful for Power Women is because of y'all's too presence on social media individually, which also starts with Facebook because that's your warm network. And so if you remember when you guys first launched the podcast before we were even working together, you already had a lot of people interested because you already had this warm network of people who knew you. And so that's what Facebook is really good for, is these people who already have supported you at some point in your life, who may, I mean, obviously we all have those people who we don't talk to anymore, but they're just like still on our Facebook list. But there's value to those people too, because they might know somebody who needs what you have or whatever. And so when you're visible there, there's an advantage, and it's coming back. The other thing that we are using Facebook now for our clients, especially, is putting video on Facebook. So we talked at the beginning of this about like, are we going to talk about TikTok or social media? And TikTok is a really big part. And I mentioned that, just a few minutes ago, why I think TikTok is so important. But Facebook Reels right now is another huge place for visibility. I just recently had a plumbing client who has 500,000 views on a video on Facebook Reels. And it's like something that is not like overly overdone or overly like it wasn't a huge production. It was just valuable information that people are consistently commenting on. It still gets views. We didn't have to put any money behind it. And so
are you targeting those reels the same way you would to get people in a certain metropolitan area, or
those are organic. Yeah, we're organic, meaning we're not spending ad money.
Or even targeting any sort of demographic, because it is important in plumbing that we're looking people who are in Oklahoma City. I don't care if someone in Texas needs plumbing. It doesn't affect me. So are you able to do that same sort of thing with the Facebook Reels?
So if we were spending ad money, yes. When we post on Facebook and Instagram, we usually add like the geographical area. But I know like it's not important to get in front of those people, but at the same time, it is, because it puts you in front of the right people. So if your content is getting in front of it, like the more people your content is getting in front of, the more people it's getting in front of. So if your content's not getting in front of anybody, then you're not reaching your target demographic either. But if you're able to reach further than that, you have a bigger opportunity to reach the people that you're trying to. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So even though maybe we do reach people in Texas, the more visibility that we're seeing is helping to get more visibility, and that more visibility is helping in our local area.
Without ad spend.
If we're spending if we're spending money on ads, we're targeting the exact people that you're looking for.
Okay. I think that's an important distinction.
Well, and I think that nails it, because a lot of people, I've heard that, well, why would you want to be on TikTok? Because you can't always, what if you're talking to someone in California? But I get what she's saying now is, even if I end up seeing someone in California, the more visibility that I have creates more visibility to where the people locally have more of an opportunity to see me because of that. However those algorithms work, the more views, and once something we've seen something go viral, and then, it's so funny how those algorithms work, because my TikTok For You page does not look like my son's, right? His is different. But every once in a while, we're
scary.
Still, yeah.
How accurate they are.
But every once in a while, we'll still see the same viral video because it was still a viral video.
I'm always afraid to like a video, because it always ends up, I just log in through Champion when I want to scroll, and I'll be like, Jen's going to know I like this video. She's going to know more about me than I want.
So actually, I can tell okay, this is complete side note and not important at all.
She's like, Leslie, are you okay?
No. But like, number one, if I get on TikTok and I start scrolling, I can immediately tell if I'm on my account or not. Like, I'll get through like 3 videos and I'm like, oh God, I don't know whose account this is, but it's not mine. But also I can tell the owners that use the TikTok versus the ones that don't, because the ones that don't, like, we'll go in and we'll, like geo-target people in their area, and we'll watch videos just in their area. But then we'll also just see like the really big random viral videos. Like when you first start an account, which y'all probably don't know, but I start accounts often. And so it's just like, this is the weirdest TikTok experience. And it's crazy how quickly it like knows exactly what you like and shows you what you like. And you don't have to watch like all the random stuff.
That is scary.
It's like a real window into someone's mind.
It is. Yeah.
Yes. And then, every once in a while she's like, I can't comment on this because I'm on Champion. I'm like, you need to make your own. I have my own TikTok.
I had one and I don't know what it is. And now I have Power Women. So
there's all kinds of them. But
so I feel like I can be a little looser with the Power Women account.
I think you need your own account.
I know. I had one. I don't know where it is.
Yes.
Jen's like, please delete that.
Please delete that.
Please delete that.
I think we should say that too, right? Hiring Jen or having someone like Jen represent your company, there's value in that outside of just doing your post for you, because we have a little story that we won't say all the deets, but me and Leslie are like pretty emotionally driven.
What?
And one
Speak
of us
for yourself.
at one time, everyone always expects Cassie to lose it, and it wasn't me. It wasn't even me this time. It was Leslie. Leslie got a little frustrated,
Which person?
that guy on Instagram about
that
how
was
we were being
given
stupid.
Ashley.
And Leslie got a little sassy.
Okay, listen.
And Jen's like, well, hang on,
I'm
but
not immune to.
no, we're not
assholes.
immune. No, we're not immune. But we had Jen, where
Yeah.
Jen, she was like, she texted me and she's like, Jen's gonna make me delete it. But we needed Jen because we needed the voice of reason to say, you're jeopardizing these things, because
You get nonsense
well,
sometimes.
and social media is emotionally fueled.
Well, okay, let me make some points on this. Number one, like this is y'all's babies, right? Like not just your plumbing companies, but the podcast too. As much as I really care deeply for my clients' companies, I'm not as emotionally involved as you are. And that goes with any founder. And so you guys are not the first people that I have to rewrite something, because I get it. Like it's like I worked in the restaurant industry. Okay. I dealt with hangry people. Like I was taught how to try and like look past somebody's emotion and just make the situation more neutral. And so there is advantage to having people on your side that can do that, because you're always going to be emotionally attached to it.
No, I definitely agree with that. Like it's in your favor to have someone on your side that can say, okay, no, because
they can say, don't post that.
Well, just rewrite it. Like you don't need, the bottom line is when someone's like got an opinion on something, you don't have to address every single thing that they said. And you also don't have to like address everything that you did. Sometimes that doesn't matter. It's just like, thank you for your feedback. Like, let's move on. With the podcast, it's different. Okay. Because like the podcast has like, we are taking a stance, right? And this really is a stance that some people may not feel comfortable with. And that's like the whole point of it. It's like you're showing up somewhere where people haven't been. And so there's always going to be like people who maybe don't agree with it. And in all reality, they're helping us on social media.
That's the point.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for the engagement.
Yeah, exactly. They're engaging with it. They're helping other people have an opinion and back you up. And so like a lot of times, like we don't even need to respond to that unless they're being like super hurtful or ugly or racist or, something that we're not going to tolerate on our page. Then like it's kind of like, okay.
Take the high road.
Take the high road. It's, I spent a lot of time like previous to all of this building my own personal brand myself on social media. Like I always joke that I was like an original influencer of social media because that's how we grew quality. We didn't actually start spending ad dollars for quality until like 2019. And so I think like how did we grow? Well, we grew because I was on social media all the time. There's been times that I'm like, oh, I want to delete TikTok for a while, and I couldn't delete it because I didn't have someone managing it, and we were getting tagged in these Facebook groups, and we had to go do that. And now we don't chase those things anymore. We just let the calls come in. But there has been a lot of times that I've gotten it right, and a lot of times I've gotten it wrong, and there's been a lot of times that I needed that voice of reason to help me navigate through it because I was very emotionally led. And, like you said, even if that person that's working for your business through social, operating your social media, even if they're so supportive of your business, they're not in love with it as much as it was if there was their own baby. So they can be a little more like, cool down, lady. Calm down.
A little bit removed. I'm just a little bit removed. Like I have a lot of love for y'all's businesses and all of my clients' businesses, but it's not, I see it a little bit differently. And yeah, you're right. Like, even if you don't have me, like no matter what, when you get a negative comment on anything, on Google, on anything, if you don't have like a laid out system of how you respond to it, then you need to have somebody else look over your work, because having worked with so many founders, like there are a lot of things that do not need to get written and posted. Like they're just, like, because like, you're like, I spoke to you on the phone and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we don't need to get that far into it. Like, we don't want to give them a chance to like be even like more frustrated or more pissed off and like say more things and go to a different channel and post other things and whatever. So.
Okay, so are you doing anything cool with your plumbing and HVAC companies on Pinterest? Have you taken that route? I know we've talked about in the past and I can't remember what we talked about, and it still kind of pops up in my head every now and then. Do you have any data on Pinterest? Is it over? Is it working?
I don't personally do Pinterest. It is such a different type of platform. It's really SEO driven. It very much has like a purpose. And I think that you and I have talked about it a lot of times. So if you think like all of the people on TikTok that are like, just post your TikToks on Pinterest, like it's not quite like that. You want it to be driving traffic to a specific place. And like, think about how you use Pinterest, right? Like meals, like easy dinners, like fun things for the kids, trips to Grand Canyon. Like those are the last things that I've looked at on Pinterest, not to say that somebody wouldn't look up like how to fix my sink or how to get a ring out of my sink drain or whatever. But you have to decide like what your purpose is and what your objective is for being on there. And like I told you, if it is to drive traffic to your blog posts and that's what you're trying to do, then that's fine. But it's not going to be like targeted traffic.
Okay, so it's not going to drive on-demand leads. Whereas like Facebook could if you were using ad spend and offers. Pinterest isn't that way.
Okay, you guys know this and your Google people tell you this, and I'm not a Google person, right? I'm the social media side. But like when somebody has a plumbing problem, they're going to Google. They're not going to Facebook and saying like plumber in my area. So that's like the social media side is it for everything that we've talked about. It's for your brand awareness. It's so that people have a chance to get to know you and your company. It's for your recruiting things. And like we run ads on Facebook for different things. I've run call ads before. They're a little bit pricey and they have to be more of like an evergreen offer, like something not something where someone's like having an emergency, but something that someone's like been thinking about for a while. And it's like, oh, maybe I should do this. I don't remember what the beginning of that question is, but the ads.
I don't either.
You're targeting ads. I think that here's why I like to use Facebook ads for plumbing and HVAC industry is it to grow the pages so that we become a part of their Facebook feed and can serve value to them on a daily basis.
So just like organic growth.
Well, to like use Facebook ads, it's very, very inexpensive to run.
No, we were talking about Pinterest. Does Pinterest do the same thing where you can run an ad?
I know you can run sponsored posts on Pinterest, but I don't know anything about the back end and how it's targeted.
Interesting. Okay.
It is interesting, but there's so many places, right?
I know.
You can show up in so many places and then you're like, is this even the right spot? Should I be here? Should I not be? But, I just even going back to like video is life, right? Because even if it's just, a few minutes ago where I'm here today in Oklahoma City, my office is in Tulsa or Glenpool, right? And I needed to send a message to someone and I just took a video real quick and sent it to her because it was easier to relay the message. But if we think about relaying the message in our businesses, that's the best way to do it also is video because you can understand tone. Like how many Facebook fights have you been in because someone misunderstood the tone of your message, Cassie Pound? A lot.
I was going to say, how many have you been in, Cassie?
A lot. But I
haven't been in that many.
Sometimes I wish they could hear my tone, right? But a lot of the times my tone was just misinterpreted because, and video, that's not wrong. But just going back, like you guys know, I'm building a house right now and my builder sent me for our shop a piece of granite that I was trying to visualize. And every time I was searching it on Google, I couldn't find anything. And I just thought, I'll try to search the same Google or the same name on TikTok. And I did. And the first 3 videos were Tulsa granite companies that were showcasing that specific name of granite. And I thought to myself, Dude, TikTok is crazy.
It is.
Right? So, but
people are selling houses on there. They're becoming gurus in their field for real estate. I mean, I follow this girl in Florida who's created an empire through real estate, and she's done it all through teaching, showing houses, So, I mean, video content rules the world. It's good. It's good and it's bad. But it is what it is.
So you were talking about like searching in these videos, and then you found these places exactly what you were looking for, this granite, right? So I think about like 3 different levels of how video is benefiting your business. So if we create a video, like, first of all, we're using TikTok as our primary platform, but we're putting it on Instagram, we're putting it on Facebook, we're putting it on LinkedIn, we're putting it on YouTube Shorts. And one of those is going to pop off like almost consistently. So we're always getting in front of people. But if anything, static content is not really being seen, meaning like the graphics, the carousels, even the pictures are not really being seen. So by using video content, we're able to get in front of the people who are already following you, your past customers, the people in your area. And so that's like one of the advantages, is that we're still showing up in the newsfeed when the static content isn't working anymore. Like, we're still getting in front of people. We're still sharing value. We're still putting your colors and your branding and your team in front of these people so that when they do have a problem, they remember that you're the ones that they're going to want to help. On the next level, when you start to see virality on some of your videos, that's when you start getting the calls from people that are like, oh my God, I saw you on TikTok. Like, so, like from the people that you know and the people that you don't know, and the team's going into people's houses and they're saying like, oh, I just saw you guys on this video, whatever. And that's really fun, right? And so there are people who are then able to find you that didn't know that you existed. And that's another great level. When you continue to build over 6 months, a year, 2 years of these video platforms, whereas now you're getting in front of hundreds of thousands of people, like then you start to build like this expert level notoriety where now you're not just like a regular, brand. You're like known for being a visible social media brand. And so you have like, there's a huge advantage to that. That goes along with the investment that you made in all of your trucks and the teams and the service, the levels of service that your team is learning. Like all of that goes together. And so now you have this really professionalized expert level brand on multiple social media platforms.
Yeah, I that makes sense to me because, I mean, it even goes back to, I've said this like multiple times today. You are what you consume. You're consuming knowledge and you're going to remember it. Like I've heard someone say this about this thing, or how many times have you been in a conversation and said, the other day when I was reading a book, I found, and you're talking about a TikTok you watched, you weren't reading nothing.
Are you telling people that you read it in a book?
I'm like, I read this in a book the other day and it was like some dude.
I'm going to start doing that.
On something.
I saw this thing on TikTok. Like I think about like if my grandparents were still alive, they would think that I was losing my mind. But this is 2023. Like this is it. This is what's happening in our space, and not just our space, but like everyone's space. Like if you're not in the trades and you're somehow come across this podcast, you need to listen to this and pay attention to social media, or you're going to be behind. And if you're not paying attention, like I think where Jen, you've done such a good job is you really kind of is that the right word? Revolutionized the trades on TikTok, right? Because we were struggling with the word. The trades were not on TikTok until you started it. I mean, that's the truth. Like maybe they were, but they weren't visible until you and Leslie started it. And now there are a lot of people on TikTok, a lot of people mimicking the same things. But that's what it is, right? But they're all not going to do it the same, and they're all not going to do it as well. And
sorry, I'm cutting you off. What I think is so special about Jen and what she does for social media is she is not part of these large plumbing and HVAC groups that are doing our SEO that we'll throw a post on Facebook. I really feel like the difference in why we got noticed at Champion and why people asked me is because it was so different than what was being presented to us in our industry at the time. That's why it was so unique, because it's boutique, it's personal. We developed a relationship, and for us, it was like, here's what we want our story to be, right? Here's who we are. She was able to take that and present it. And I think you cannot get that in these other people that they use it as an add-on service where they're going to post the same picture across 10 companies and it's all going to show up on your feed. It's just not the same. So that's my opinion.
I think so too, because I agree with what you're saying, because you've had to take the time to learn the trade, and everyone's going to have to do that no matter what, but you started the trend and you're keeping the trend, and people are following your trends. And that's been I think a big part of your success. This girl over here, do you see?
I haven't had a lot of sleep.
Well, no, the problem is she didn't have a Coke. And
it's hard to sit here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish we could walk around and talk.
We're
have
all
like a
ADHD.
GoPro.
I was thinking, I'm probably one of their last ones. They're like done.
No, we're not done. That's why we only do 4 a day. But
today we only did 3.
Yeah, but you are right. Like, Leslie and I both are very ADHD. But I think that ADHD, as much as I talk about it, right? Because I really feel like it's like much bigger in society.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. But most people are ADHD and don't realize it, or have some type of form of something, right?
Neurodivergent. Like, I feel like everyone's neurodivergent. Like, what is neurotypical?
Exactly. But those are the types of people that are watching the TikToks, because, what's the secret? Like, what's the secret?
7 seconds,
7 seconds, 9 seconds. Because, like, if it's 20,
is it 8 seconds, or that's riding a bull?
7.
How long do you have to stay on the bull?
8 seconds.
Oh, 8 seconds.
Okay.
But if it's too long for me, I ain't doing it.
Yeah, me too. I know. And we have a lot of different strategies that we use that we know work. I mean, there's just so many things that I could get into. But I think that you were talking about the difference between working with us versus working with somebody who's just like adding on social media. And like right now, there's so much that goes into it. Number one, it's impossible to try to do it as a founder, as a co-owner, or whatever. Like, unless that's your full-time job and you're just on every platform trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, it's like, I've got a team of 6 people over here, and we're still like, everybody has expertise in different platforms. I have people who specify in video, people who specify in copy. Like, it's just it's so much to it. It's not just like, just throw something up on Facebook. And like, my goodness, the stress of having to be like, have we posted in a while? Like, what are we doing right now? Like, no.
I think that happens a lot, like where people are like, I'm just going to manage it myself. And then, and that even happened with us. Like, Kaylee came on and I had her doing so many things. And then we'd be like, crap, we forgot to post this or do this, and that's what it really started with. Like,
it's a full-time job.
I
mean, again, is why I don't think you can just add it on, because someone's going to try to scale it to a point that you've made no impact. And as owners, you have to decide where am I going to put if you just love it and you want to learn it, but you're not going to be able to work on anything else.
Right.
You're not going to be able to do anything else. And so you need to hire someone with the gift. You need to spend the money. It's part of your branding. It's part of your community. You want to show the life of your company and like a real pulse of your company. And you can do that by having like your inside person helping Jen or someone like Jen getting the content that they need, and then just letting them develop. And I think, in our company, I think Kaylee's probably even enjoyed her job more now that she's just grabbing the content and helping facilitate those ideas. And then someone else is doing that, and people don't understand how hard, if you want to have a meaningful social media, you cannot do it yourself. I don't. You just and then still be as present as you need to be. And not work on your business.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. And I think that also, Leslie, like, you really hit it nail on the head there with like how important it is to be different, because that's the whole point. Like, the whole point of social media is to, if you're using it for brand awareness, it's to really showcase your brand, your team, your family, your office pets, you like whatever is actually going on there, because that is what sets you apart from the other, I don't know the statistics of how many plumbing companies or HVAC companies are in one town, but I'm certain there's a ton of them. And so what is going to set you apart on social media is the representation and extension of you and your brand. And I absolutely collaborate with all of my clients. This is not like I'm not working in like a little bubble of just like putting stuff out. I'm constantly trying to get like the most up-to-date information so that we can really truly like share what's going on in the company right now.
And it has to be your people. Like, don't hire actors. Don't like your people, the people wearing your uniforms that are showing up. Like, I know that, and I know like as much as even going back to TikToks, some of our team at first was like, what do you mean Kaylee's making me do another TikTok? Well, now I think some of them like secretly enjoy when she asks them to do it. Like they're not ever going to admit that, but they kind of enjoy doing it. We started like our Monday moves, and every Monday we're doing some type of dance. And now we're getting people involved in dances that we didn't think would be dancing, and so but it's a morale boost too. So it's so much deeper than just, gaining attention from customers. Yes, that's the goal. We need the phone to ring for all these people, but also the morale that happens within your team too, because they're getting to have fun. And
we're constantly trying to recognize your team too, because they see that and most of them are on social media. And so when you're remembering to recognize them publicly for their anniversaries and their birthdays, or like they're being promoted, or just being a part of the things that are going on in your company, like that, like people like recognition. Words of affirmation are important to people.
Well, and then that you recognize their birthdays, and you're doing that because they like those things, and then they're sharing it and their family's sharing it. And
exactly. You're getting in front of more people.
You're getting in front of more people, but you're just also showing you like who you are as a company is then you take away all the ad dollars and everything else. Sometimes that's what we do as owners is we're like, just throw some more money at it. And sometimes you don't have to throw any money at it. You just have to take the time to just show who you are. And you can do that for free on social media.
Yeah,
that's true.
So, well, Jen, if someone was wanting to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
So, of course, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Yes.
Kee Hart Marketing.
Kee Hart Marketing.
My name is spelled Keehart, which is a combination of my last name and my maiden name is how I came up with that. I want to really quickly go back to your first question about getting into the trades industry. And I have to say that although I didn't plan it, it's really been such a fun thing to be a part of. I love being a part of it. Almost all of my clients in the trade industry are a husband and wife team. There's a woman who's really, really involved in it. And it's just been so cool to see what you guys are doing. I loved listening to your podcast and like being totally inspired by it. Like, I'm going to go start a plumbing company.
I know the other day in Slack where we all communicate with Jen, Cassie and I, and then Rita, our producer, Jen was like, man, I think I'm going to start a plumbing and HVAC company.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know, right?
Right. It's a good time. But something you just said, Jen, that maybe you caught or maybe you didn't, or maybe was intentional, is all the plumbing and HVAC companies you're working with is a husband and wife duo where the wife is really active in the social media. And what that's saying is it doesn't always have to be that way, but women are on social media shopping and doing and online more often. And that's right. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, you guys know that like your ideal customer is the woman of the house. So they're the person who's buying.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So Kee Hart Marketing, Jen Mckee, we will be sure in our notes to put all of her contact information in. Sorry, I forgot about that.
When she posts it on Facebook, when this episode goes live, she'll tag herself.
Yeah, she will tag herself. Absolutely.
I'll be tagged in all of the episode.
That's right.
Yes. I think that if anyone's listening and they just really haven't taken a grasp onto social media, now is the time. If you're not doing it now, you're already behind.
100%. And quit waiting on TikTok. Like you're going to wait and you're going to be the last one. You got to get on now.
You got to do something. Get up, jump in there, show your
And it doesn't have to be
customers-
perfect.
It doesn't.
No, it's not going to be perfect. Your first post is going to be terrible. It's going to be fine. Nobody will see it. It'll be fine.
I made my first, like, I have some personal TikTok posts, and like I've had to have my 13-year-old help me. And then I made one in the car today, and Kaylee, I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And she's like, hang on, you know? And so like
Funny.
it was, but it's the future, and there's going to be another one next. Like, what will it be?
I know. I wonder what it's going to be. Jen, do you know? Do you know?
I don't know. I was a little bit interested in Clubhouse when it first came out, but it was just like too much of a commitment. And so that one couldn't really follow.
I forgot about Clubhouse, and you couldn't get in, and so I finally got in, and then I never got on it
And
again.
then it was
And
like-
everyone quit talking about it.
It was really fun at the beginning. And then it was like, it was a lot. And then, you know, all this talk about Web3, where it's like basically like dismantling the Facebooks and Instagrams of the world. But I don't see personally anything right now, you know, and as fast as TikTok has come on, it's also been a slow process. So when the next thing comes on, like we'll have time to figure it out. But then also you still have to move fast. Like you can't wait a couple years.
You have to
jump in and
take
try.
action.
Take action. All right, Jen. Well, thank you for being on today. Thank you for being a sponsor of Power Women of the Trades
We
podcast.
love Jen Mckee around here.
We do.
Thanks, guys.
And if you need some insight on her work, go check out Power Women of the Trades TikTok, Champion Plumbing Oklahoma City TikTok, Quality Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing in Tulsa TikTok, or any of our social media pages, and you'll
That's
have
right.
a really good insight of exactly what Jen does and the story she tells for your company.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you, Jen. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This has been Power Women of the Trades. Like what you hear so far? Leave us a review at Apple. And make sure to listen to our other episodes wherever you enjoy listening to your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.